just dive right in. So my name is Dustin Thompson. I'm with the Delaware Sierra Club. And with me today is the wonderful Babita Jagnanan from Pheonix Used Clothing. So Babita, could you tell us a little bit maybe about yourself before we get started?
Sure. Hi. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're happy you're here. My name is Babita. I've been in the recycling industry for the past 20 years. A little bit about me. I'm originally from Guyana in South America, next to Brazil. I grew up there, lots of land space, open land space, savannas in our backyard. Green space was always something I was accustomed to. Night stars, light up the sky. I didn't realize light pollution was a problem until I came to the US and then realized not everybody sees stars the way we see it. So over the years, I've lived in New Jersey for a long time, worked in several different environments. But in 2000, I came to Delaware. I got married and came to Delaware. And that's my home in Delaware. Delaware has been my home for the past 20 years. John and I have 3 kids together, and just growing up, just raising children, family life. When my daughter was a baby, my sister introduced me, Shanta, to the recycling industry. It was an opportunity to get out of corporate America and join something that I've never done before. I've never done recycling on that scale. My sister is one of the very first women brokers in the textile industry, and she gave me that opportunity to come on board to raise my daughter and to be part of something that would change my life forever. I never understood how recycling really worked. And to think about recycling textiles, it's something I never thought of before, of how you can go about that. So for the past 20 years, I've been in the recycling industry, just predominantly in the textile industry. So that's here I am, 20 years later, talking about recycling in Delaware.
Wonderful. So just to go over some ground rules here, all of our participants on Zoom are muted, just that way we don't have issues with your videos popping in with background noise, and then we got to do all these disclosures and all that nonsense. So if you have any questions, though, as we're going through today, the chat function is working fully, so you can chat with each other, you can chat with us. If you have any questions, I can kind of rope them into our conversation here. Those that are watching on Facebook, I see you joining. Thank you very much. If you have any questions or comments, please use the comment function on the Facebook live feed. And again, I'm watching that, and we'll bring those conversations over as well. And we would love for you to share the feed. We want to get this information out to as many people as possible today. This is an important topic. And I think even more so important because in the month of November, we have a little recycling celebration. So why don't you highlight that, and then we'll talk a little bit about Pheonix, if that sounds good.
Sure. November 15 is America Recycles Day, where we try to put all focus on recycling. So if anyone who has never done anything in the recycling industry, or a lot of people has never even heard that America Recycles is a thing. So share your projects with us. Tell us what you have, what you're going on, whatever your community is doing. I have a few projects at the end of the presentation for informal conversation, because we like to call it a chat. Let's have a recycling chat. I'll share about what I have happening locally. And if anyone wants to participate, we would love for you to be part of that.
Wonderful. Yes. And if you didn't catch it, one of our first episodes actually was with the guy who runs the Delaware Recycling Program, outreach for the recycling program. And so you can always catch our old episodes on our website and our Facebook as well. The website is just sierraclub.org/Delaware. And then you can do another / and do live stream series with the little dashes between the words. Or you can just hit the Our Events tab and you'll see the live stream series page there. So definitely check that out if you're confused on what Delaware can recycle. So tell us a little bit about Pheonix Clothing. How did you guys get started and when?
Pheonix Used Clothing is a fairly new project. In 2019, in October of 2019, I decided that I was going to come out of the brokering of textiles. I used to be a textile broker. I can redo work like with the Salvation Armies, your Goodwills, private organizations, in how to reduce waste from going into landfill. To take everything you have, let's look at everything someone donates or a private company collects, and what is the minimum amount of stuff that end up in landfill. Over the years, I found out that a lot of people don't know how to recycle, or when we take something to a recycling center or to a donation center, we don't think about what is it that they need and what is it that they do. So during that time, I've learned that a lot of your good stuff end up in a garbage can, because we don't want to say no to you bringing it. Then you're not going to bring the other items that we need. So so then I decided that it's time to put textile. I've been talking about it with anyone and everyone, how to recycle correct. I can have a whole conversation. We can spend a day just talking about it. It's what I'm passionate about. So after trying to get people to recycle for a really long time, I found out that not everybody is for the same cause or want to do it the way we want to do it. And the only way to get it done is to do it yourself. Hence, Pheonix Used Clothing. I came out of the brokering of it, and with my sister's support, I'm able to launch our own program in Delaware. Doing the groundwork for it is important for me. To get into schools, to get into neighborhoods, to talk to anybody who can help us to recycle correct, because we all know recycling is about convenience. So that's where Pheonix Used Clothing come in. It's a community partnership that relies on recycling, where education and your community and recycling comes together. And in the end, it's also to give back into our community. So it's tying the things that I enjoy about my life together. I found one way to put all my passions together, and that's Pheonix Used Clothing.
Wonderful. And a wonderful mission as well, I gotta say. You know, anything we can do to move towards, you know, zero waste society, and to make sure that we're, as much as humanly possible, keeping items out of the landfill for as long as possible, is a more sustainable future. So that being said, on average, do you know how much textile actually ends up in the landfills in the US?
Each year, 85% of textiles end up in landfill in the United States, which means only 15% gets into a sustainable environment. And everyone has access to clothing. So it's a shame that still, to this point, it should be the #1 recyclable item. However, concrete beats it out. Concrete is the #1 recyclable item.
Interesting, very interesting. So maybe you know the answer to this, is a lot of it coming from industry, or is it end consumer, kind of the fast fashion issues?
It's a combination of all of those things. But the one thing we found out for resources is that it's easier to put it in the trash, because textiles is not on the same platform as plastics. So we're not putting in the same amount of energy that we're putting into plastics. We're putting in containers everywhere for us to recycle proper. But as a textile recycler, when we ask someone to put a bin on their property, they look down on it. Because for too long, the textile industry, or most of us, when we think of giving our clothing, it's more of a personal connection with your clothing. So you think of giving it to a charity. You think of, what is the cause of my clothing? And a lot of people are just, it's just a lack of convenience or not the know-how. A lot of people don't realize that when you give your clothing into a bin, it goes someplace else. It goes back. So what we found out, the easiest thing to do is to put it in your everyday garbage. So that's how we end up with 85% of textiles in landfill.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, I feel like on many things, on many levels, convenience is such a huge factor. And in fact, that's one of the struggles, I think, with recycling as a whole. When we talk to, I can't remember the guy's name who runs the program here, but Adam, I can't remember how to pronounce his last name. But when we talk to Adam about it, right? One of the issues is that people don't do it right, even though they're trying, right? They're trying to recycle. The convenience factor sometimes takes over. And rather than rinsing and washing and drying the recycling before you put it in, they're putting in dirty products, or what do you call it? Wish cycling, I think is what he called it,
With
right? They
cycling.
wish it was recyclable.
Yes.
So they put it in there regardless of whether or not it is recyclable. And so it was probably one of the more engaging live streams that we've done, in fact, because so many people had so many misconceptions about recycling. And you probably deal with that yourself in the textile recycling, right?
Yes.
You have a lot of wish cycling on your end as well.
Well, we do. Like, there's people who recycle right. And
Yeah.
like we talk about the wish cycling, we wish we would. And hence that's your wet clothing that they didn't exactly, some people would go out of their way to wash it, but not dry it proper. So then that creates mildew. And not only do you have to throw away one bag, whatever else it comes into contact with, it's contaminated. So you have to get rid of that. So I think education is one of the most important parts to bring this together. Like earlier when we went to plastic free Delaware, in collaboration with a lot of other companies, did the Youth Environmental Summit in Dover, and it was a great way to incorporate all of that together and to get an idea of how many people don't know what's recyclable as clothing or what's reusable, because the clothing industry is more about a reusable environment as opposed to a breaking it down into turning into fibers again. Right now, we're currently at the reusable stage. So a lot of people are still under that misconception. Are my underwears can be used again? Yes. Your mismatched socks. Socks are the #1 requested items in homeless shelters in the United States. But yet we throw away a single side of our sock instead of just 2 mismatched socks still makes a pair. So just keep it in mind, whatever, just think about it. And education is the only way to go forward with this. We have to do the group educations to get people on board to recycle proper, because it's an expensive process. Recycling is expensive. It's manual labor.
Yeah. There's not a lot of automation quite yet, and a lot of these different. It does take some people power to get it done. So you brought up a good point about doing it right, and then we also actually have a question from the audience. So there is kind of a process that you want people to go through, right? Obviously, you want them to kind of wash and dry the clothes, whatever it may be, before it's donated. But is there a preferred way to do that? Like, is there a more sanitary way over another way, or is it just kind of just use your home washer and dryer, just do the job, and then you're good to go?
Exactly. Home washer, do the job. If you're going to wear it, if you can wear something, my #1 rule for clothing, toys, shoes, any of those household products, if you can use it, it means someone else can use it. Always think about, is this something good enough for me? And if it's good enough for you, then you know it's good enough for someone else to use. So
Right.
how would you wear your clothing? It's the same thing, would I wear my clothing that's clean, that's, no other. Those are the important factors in it. And for some people, because a lot of what we collect is distributed back into our community, a lot of people are starting to label their bags to say, I have men's size, small, extra small. It's a
Okay.
simple thing. On the paper bag, they just label it.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing more people are using paper bags, fabric bags, instead of plastic bags. And it warms my heart. Thank you.
That's better. You're good with that.
Yes, we want that, because the less plastics, better for all of us to use. If you have your grocery shopping bags that are good, the paper bags, let's reuse them.
Sure. Right. Somebody asked about pillows. Do you do anything with pillows, or does anybody do anything with pillows?
Pillows take special, you have to go through like special programs for that because of bed bugs.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of sanitary stuff that goes with it. Currently, I'm not. So you have to check like with Goodwill or something like that to see if they take it. But a lot of places don't. Maybe your homeless shelters are the one who would be able to use it and go through the process with that.
I tell you, I was in the market for a new pillow for a little bit there. We ended up getting a new bed, and my old pillow was a water base. It's a foam bed, so the pillow would sink into the bed, and then it just it didn't work, right? It wasn't comfortable. And so I bought, a stack of pillows right now beside my bed because I had nowhere to put them. Well, I was trying out different pillows, and what do you do with them? What do you do with these pillows? So yeah, I am with you on that. I gotta find myself what the heck I'm gonna do with these pillows. My mother-in-law actually works for Family Promise, so I have to see if I can run them through the sanitation cycle, and maybe they'll take them. That's a good idea.
Yes, if you do it through the sanitation cycle, then we could find a home for it because we know you've already processed it. Because winter is coming and we're here, and the homeless shelters are in need of that stuff right now.
So was that a Game of Thrones reference or a
Winter is.
Governor Carney reference?
I'm gonna let that be.
That was one of the greatest tweets from Governor Carney ever. He's like, I don't know what this is. My staff's just telling me to share it. So winter is coming, apparently. Wear a mask. I'm like, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
So what companies are doing their part to help reduce this waste? Are there any that maybe we can highlight that is doing really well in cutting down on maybe the consumer side or the producer side, kind of greening the industry?
I have one of our dear friends in a company that I've actually grew up with. Basically, I'm saying I'm grew up with it because one of my biggest mentors, White House and Shapiro, they're in Baltimore, Maryland, and they're one of the biggest in our area here. They're one of the biggest companies that takes most of your textiles that come through their plant into other countries, third world nations, to take down to reduce the amount that goes into landfill locally. So hats off to them.
Wonderful. Yeah, and hopefully, fast fashion is one of the things that is killing this planet, and hopefully maybe some smart consumer behavior changes or some kind of demand to drive the industry to kind of get off that bus and do more sustainable practices, because on that end of things, it does contribute a lot to the waste in the landfill. So how has COVID kind of impacted what you guys have been doing?
Well, because of COVID, a lot of stuff that what I do locally, everything had to shut down. As everybody know, all the plants were shut down, charities were shut down because you couldn't take anything until we know what COVID was doing. And it's affected like the collection because people were afraid to come out of their homes. However, when COVID came with that we start collecting less, the demand has increased for clothing, for used clothing, because so many people are out of a job right now. They don't have the money to buy new, which is going to help our fast fashion industry not to just go crazy, because if we're not shopping, consumers are not, we're going to help reduce the amount they have to manufacture. So a lot of people, by not having that extra funds with all of the stores opening up back, like our reusable stores opening back, thrift stores opening back, I think the pandemic and COVID is going to force people to shop thrift because they don't have the money. And also we're the pandemic has to have some major impact on how we live. Let's look back at it. We can't expect the planet to save itself. This is a wake-up call for all of us, and we need to do our part.
Yes, it needs to be on something. That phrase right there. We all need to do something. So speaking of doing something, what can people do maybe on the consumer side or whatever? What can we do in our daily lives or in our decisions to help reduce the textile waste, aside from donating on the secondary market?
Yeah, we're asking you to try the 30 wear test. When you buy something, quality versus quantity. We buy something, make sure the quality is right for you so you can have it longer.
Yeah.
Also, repair. Can we stitch something? Can you patch something? Can you put on a button onto something instead of tossing something? Not everything should go away. Like one of my biggest pet peeves was the bags. When everyone was making bags out of t-shirts, Everybody was going on board with the t-shirt bags. It was a great way to use your old t-shirts. But what did you do with the sleeves?
Yeah.
What happened to all those thousands of sleeves we cut out to make t-shirt bags? Those shirts could have been used like they were.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah. And one thing I always kind of, being guilty myself of the t-shirt bags, full disclosure.
Oh
Um,
no.
and it always did kind of irritate me. Like, what do I do with it? I know somebody can do something with this fragmented material, make patches or something. But kind of always the word of caution on the bags is don't make this a replacement for your single use in the mindset that this is going to like go away. Like this bag is going to go away. When you buy a reusable bag or when you make a reusable bag, either way, you have to change your mindset entirely to think that it's not like I go to the store, oh, I forgot my reusable bag, let me just buy another one. And then you get home and you got a mountain of reusable bags that now you have to deal with that, right? So it's not enough just to transition away from the single-use product. You got to transition away from the single-use mindset. And I fear that is going to be a missing component in America as we make this transition. And we really got to be careful because these things take even longer to break down than, say, if we were to go to a hemp replacement for single-use plastic. So we gotta change this American mindset. So what kind of clothing can people recycle through Pheonix, and how can they get it to you?
Well, currently we take everything, because a big part of what we get go back into all different communities, whether we're sending someone back to work, we work with the back to work programs, we work with families that just happen to fall upon a bad time. It's not that they're necessarily poor or in need. They just lost their jobs and now they need our help and they need that outfit to go back into an interview. Or they're just on Zoom and they need to look nice on Zoom. We work with those families. We work with families that needs everything. We also do a lot of work in the recovery and addiction community. So we basically take everything: men, women, children, small household items,
What do you mean?
backpacks.
Expand on that. What kind of what would fall under that household items category?
Okay. Like dishes, pots, plates, cups, pans,
Okay,
spoons, small items that you need for your everyday living,
great.
glass. Because part of our program of what we do with your son, the stuff that we collect, or sometimes I don't even collect it. If a family is in transition with moving, then we have them connect together. We make the connection. One person collected, they drop it off. We give them a new start. So if you're in recovery and you're just first apartment you're getting, it's your very first apartment. So a lot of local realtors will reach out to us and say, I have a house full of furniture. Can you give it to someone else? So it's a new start for someone else.
Wonderful.
So that's kind of where our program is. A lot of what I do is focused in recovery and addiction based, but anyone that walks through our path and asks us for anything, we're happy to be that hand that you took the time to come and ask us. So we take the time to make sure if we can help, we'll do something about it.
So soon it should be Pheonix Used Clothing and Beyond or something
And
like that.
beyond. Well,
Yeah.
we do a lot of other stuff like the grocery. The pandemic is here and we realized the need for healthy foods. We didn't have enough. Yesterday, we distributed 750 boxes of groceries locally, and that was amazing. So just the need is there. And I think the only way we all get out of this is to help each other, talk about what we're not doing right. How can we make little changes in our life every day? Like you brought up the bags. It's great to buy recyclable bags, but if it's not in your car, you're not taking it to the grocery store.
Yeah.
So our little mindset, we are a country of plenty.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's not working anymore, that we have to reduce that. I think the first one of the places that needs recycling should be taught is in schools with little kids.
Yeah, my niece, I probably said this already on one of these episodes, but my niece, it's so funny. My sister was always the leave the lights on, you know, have the water running while brushing your teeth and all that sort of stuff. And I grew up on Captain Planet and Magic School Bus, and so you know I'm all about fighting the polluters. And so, but it's really funny. My niece went out with us for a coastal cleanup day. I guess it was 2 years ago now, before COVID. And ever since then, she's like, she hounds my sister. So it's come full circle. Now my sister's was getting yelled at by my parents. Now she's getting yelled at by her daughter. So it's really a beautiful circle right there. But at any rate, yeah, it does. And it makes my sister, you know, keeps her honest, so to speak, right?
Yes.
She drops anything outside, or you know something drops as she getting out of the car or something like that, my niece like, oh my god, you know. So
Yes.
definitely, yeah, you get the kids on board and then the adults get dragged kicking and screaming. So how do people get this stuff to you? I think you have some drop locations, right?
Yes, I do have some drop-off locations in Kent County, also in Newcastle County. But our facility, which is the easiest place, you know, where it is more convenient if you're able to bring it here, we're at 132 Sandy Drive in Newark. We're off Otts Chapel.
Wonderful. Yeah, and we'll, for those that are watching, we will put that on the resources when we upload this to our website as well. So, and maybe I'll have you repeat that at the end when we're wrapping up here. So you said there was a top priority materials for you or for the recycling industry right now?
If you're looking to recyclable items in the US for your thrift stores and everything right here, we're seasonal. So a lot of people get offended, or a lot of people don't like their clothing going overseas. When we talk about that on a bigger scale of the textile industry, I think a lot of people said, oh, someone is selling my clothing, right? That isn't a big conversation we're having about clothing. That's your summer clothing. More than likely, clothing that goes overseas into another country is summer clothing, because most of those countries that buy this clothing they use our summer clothing. In the US, we are not able to collect the summer clothing during the winter months and hold on to it. So big companies, you have to be like a really big company to do that though, because an average load for a container is about 45,000 pounds. So you have to have a lot of clothing to send overseas. And yes, they sell your clothing for a few dollars. And that conversation is happening now on a larger scale. In the past, we had private collectors were looked down upon, that they're making money off your collections. However, what they make is so small because their shipping costs including, it has to be recycled properly, you know, so the amount of money they make is too small for that. However, here in the US, we take everything because now people are starting to layer their clothing. You wear a summer shirt underneath and you wear maybe a sweater over it. Not everyone has a coat because of homelessness rising and poverty rising around us. So to your point about what clothing is needed, everything is needed. Everything is needed. As long as you don't put it in landfill, let's take it here. You know, let's give it to someone who will wear a sweater over under a shirt instead of putting it away.
Right. Yeah, but there's definitely probably some seasonal spikes, I guess, right? Right now probably is coat and sweater,
Sweater.
you know, higher
Yes.
demand, right?
Jeans. Yeah, not everybody wants jeans, and you know, it's warmer clothing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you guys take, obviously, if you're taking appliances, you take jackets as well, I assume.
We take jackets, yes, coats, gloves, hats, scarves, everything. Bedding, you know, comforters, you know, as long as it's good, we'll take it. We
Wonderful.
take everything, all your textile. And if someone has something and you don't know what to do with it, just reach out. You know, reach out to us. We're always here to answer your questions. It doesn't have to be about clothing.
Yeah. So somebody asked a good point. What is the degree on any stains, or if it's already pre-patched or something like that?
Pre-patched is okay. If you can wear it, and that's just general rule. If you can wear it, someone can wear it. If it's stained and it's not good, obviously you don't give it to someone else to wear it, right? Because you wouldn't wear it.
Right. Yeah. So bleach your whites.
Exactly.
Wonderful. So you teased us a little bit earlier about some of the local stuff you got going for recycling, America Recycles Day. So I'd love to hear more on that for bringing this thing around. And if anybody has any questions on Facebook or on the Zoom here, go ahead and ask them away, and we'll make sure we get to them before we close up.
So on November 21st, we're doing a drive, a clothing drive at the Pike Creek at a shopping center with the emphasis on textile recycling. Recycle your clothing, recycle your shoes. It's a drive-through, basically. Our vans are going to be there. It's put on by Face the Facts, Hope on Deck, a few other communities that work together. We work together as a bigger community. So we're going to be doing that. And that's on November 21st at 11 a.m. Anyone in that area, if you have something to drop off, you can join us. Stop off, just say hi. You'll see our Pheonix van will be there. So just say hi. You'll see our volunteers are going to be there. So we'll take socks, shoe, coats, sneakers. Winter is coming. Like I said, the phrase "the winter is coming." We need a lot of sneakers, especially like men clothing for the communities that are disadvantaged. Men clothing is needed quite a bit for that. So, but we'll take men, women, children, anything you have that you want to get rid of. Stop by with us. If you have a lot and you would like to drop it off at Pheonix Used Clothing, that's great too. But on November 21st, we'll be in Pike Creek. And then on November 22nd, we're doing a cleanup at Battery Park. So if you're in that area at 11 a.m. and you would like to help us clean up, please come out and help us clean up. We'll clean up the park area, clean up around the water line there at Battery Park, get the garbage out of the way, try to see what kind of plastics we'll come up with to see if we can recycle those water bottles that people are tossing there. So we have that. And then we're doing a holiday drive for toys and clothing, blankets for seniors and disadvantaged families, and our toy drive. So if you want to contribute to any of that, we would love to have you on board. If you would like to sponsor a family, all of our stuff are community-based and for local Delaware residents. So if you're interested in doing anything with us, please, would love your partnership.
Wonderful. And again, we'll get the address for Pheonix and the info for these events. When we upload this on our website, we include resources underneath the video. So if you want kind of more info on those things, or you didn't take notes today, we will make sure we have that info for you. Somebody asked, what are the hours that I assume that is for people to bring stuff to you?
I'm here on all random hours. I'm here Sundays, I'm here Saturdays. But the most convenient thing about us where we're at, if you know you're going to come ahead of time and you have large items, please just reach out and someone will meet you here. However, we have clothing bins in our parking lot. So you're convenient, your time. Because we do acknowledge that, everyone, it takes time to do this. It's going to take time out of your schedule. So we want to just make that as easy as possible.
And if people have some of those small household items, do you want them to not put those in the bins? You'd rather people call and do a setup like that?
That would be good. Also, a lot of people, if they come here and they have those items that are not, that's going to break if you throw it in the bin, they just leave it on the side of the bin at our parking lot here. So somebody just takes it in, and that works too. Gotcha.
Wonderful. Well, we really appreciate everybody watching on Facebook and on Zoom today. Thank you, Babita, so much for joining us and letting us know more about Pheonix.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, really appreciate it. So what day is America's Recycles Day so we can make sure everybody gets out there?
November 15th, America Recycles. Please share your projects with me on Pheonix Used Clothing. You know, Phoenix, however, just hashtag keeping textiles out of landfill. We want to hear from you. We want to see your projects. Just let's keep building. Delaware is small enough. Everyone could recycle.
Wonderful. So follow them on Facebook, and are you guys on Twitter or Instagram?
On Insta,
Yep.
hashtag keeping textiles out of landfill. However you want, just let us know what you're doing. And if you have a project you would like to partner with also, we'd love to hear about your projects and what can we do also.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for everything that you're doing, which is a lot, and we really appreciate you and all the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks so much. Next week, we do have Chief Coker is going to come on and tell us, educate everybody on the history of the Lenape people, and you do not want to miss that. So hopefully we'll see you back here next Wednesday. You do want to RSVP for this one. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good week.
Bye, guys.